Hello, and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 557. I can read. Only some days. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is Wednesday, the 29th of December.
I'm glad you know what day it is.
Only because it's written right there on
the
screen.
It is.
Yep. Laura and I both use the she, her pronouns, and we've both been off work for almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, almost. Not quite.
Laura's had, family visits and long drives, and I've had naps.
And you've been rearranging and redoing your entire craft room, which is why we're here.
Yes.
At my house.
Because my craft room is in total disarray right now. It's half painted, repainted, and there are new shelves that Michael's building that are half done. I know that will shock everyone.
Has Michael been off too?
He was off last week. He's not this week. But yeah, so hopefully at least the painting and everything will be done by the weekend so that I can finish moving everything back in place, because I'm hopefully going to move my work setup up there.
Nice.
So that I can control the noise a little better.
Yeah. That'll be good.
Yeah.
You can also control what animals are coming in and out of your space a little bit better.
Yeah.
And humans, by locking a door.
I will have to go downstairs to use the bathroom, though, because my son's bathroom is upstairs, and there's just...
He's a teenage boy.
Yep.
Enough said. So, would you like to go first? You have so much stuff that you've been working on, and I don't have much.
Why don't you go ahead and go?
Okay.
Because you've got a fair amount of spinning to talk about. So, we get your knitting in first, and then...
So I am still working on the Out of Winter Shawl by Tammy Gore. I'm using size 6 needles and knitting it out of some Kumase. It's KOOMASEE BFL that I spun. She does not name, or it's not written on here. There we go. There's her tag. So, I spun this back in maybe the summer. I need to start dating my spins. And it was 400 yards end to end. I spun it end to end. It's a 2-ply, so you'll see that the colors are matching up occasionally because it was spun end to end. So, a lot of progress on this. It doesn't look like it, but I think I was at the green before, and I got all the way through the yellow, this pink and green section, some more yellow and pink, and then I am on the pink. I have approximately 20 more rows to go, and then it gets striped with another color that I haven't spun yet. So I bought some natural Cordale. I went to the Smoky Mountain Spinnery. I almost said Blue Mountain Spinnery, which is not correct. The Smoky Mountain Spinnery, which is in Pigeon Forge, I believe, or Sevierville, Tennessee, when I was hanging out with family, and I bought some different natural braids, including some natural brown Cordale, and I think I'm going to use that for the stripes and the lace. I have this much left, so I have a good bit to get through on these next 20 rows. I should not run out of yarn, knock on wood, but I should be good, and it's a fairly easy knit when I'm painting, but I do have to pay attention to it because it is knitting and purling, not just knitting round and around and around, like the socks that I've been working on. And so knits, purls, increases thrown in there to increase it out, and soon it's going to have striping and lace. So in order to keep a project on the needles that is more just round and around and around, I cast on some socks, some toe-up socks. These will be Wendy Johnson's toe-up sock with gusset. This is Knit Spin Farms, her Targhee Sport, because it's sport weight. I can knit it on size 1 needles, and it makes me super happy. I knit over 56 stitches. I wear a size 11 women's shoe, so this gives me what I need. And it's nice and squishy. Targhee is a super cool blend of, I think, Rambouillet, Cordale, and maybe Lincoln. So it is nice and springy. It's got that merino type characteristics because Rambouillet is a cousin to merino, and Cordale is from a merino. It's a merino cross as well. So it has a good bit of merino characteristics, but also some cool characteristics from those longer wools as well. Yeah, this is, I think it was called Walk in the Woods on Winter Solstice, something like that. So, or Winter Solstice to Walk in the Woods. I don't know.
Was it this most recent one?
No, it's not a club colorway.
Oh, okay.
It's one that I purchased from Joanna.
Okay.
The most recent one was the Source Day, I believe. So, and it's purples. So yeah, this is on the needles. It's really pretty and wintry. I wish it was wintry here. It's like 75 and raining today. Yeah. We're under some tornado alerts. So we're hoping that inclement weather goes elsewhere. But those are the two things that are actively being worked on my needles. I also have Quinn Hat by Woolly Wormhead, but I didn't work on that at all. I've been powering through some socks that I'll talk about in finished objects. And then I'll give you some pictures to put in.
Yep, I definitely will need them.
Because they've all been gifted. Do you need me to talk a little bit longer? It looks like you're picking up stitches.
That's fine. I'll be picking up stitches for a while. So the first thing is the Hasukai Cowl, which last time I talked about it, I had started on the edging. And during my packing everything up of the knit room, I found the fourth skein that I didn't think I had.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be able to make it longer, which is good because it worked fine as a tube, but not as a wrap. Mm-hmm. Like it was pretty short for that. So I'll be able to add a lot of length.
Look at you finding all this yarn.
But I had to rip it back to the part where I started the ruffle. So I mean, it's just garter stitch, so it's not a difficult thing to pick up. So.
And it's woolly wool, so it probably picks up.
It grabs itself a little bit. Yeah,
that's nice.
And then what else? I ripped out Brioche Adventure because apparently I can't read and or count. I'll put a picture in here, hopefully, where the cowl started out nice and a good size, and then after the second repeat, it went down, and then it kept getting narrower and narrower. It wasn't supposed to do that. It was supposed to stay the same size the whole way through. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how that happened. So each section is divided by some garter stitch. So my best guess is that somehow I messed up the transition to or from the garter stitch. I don't know. I ripped it completely out because
it would have been hard to try to figure it out.
I mean, I would have had to rip back to the first section anyway. And I didn't particularly love the way the colors were interacting, so I'll use them for something else.
Yeah. Those might be good for that curious, the Helen Stewart.
Oh, the one that's got like 24 different sections or whatever.
That might be good to combine with some other things for that.
Maybe, like a solid of some kind.
Yeah.
What else? I pulled out of timeout the Chance of Showers. It's the Heidi Kermayer that...
Okay, I did not knit that. I knit Passing Showers.
Okay.
We were having a discussion
about the lace edging of this one.
Yes.
So this is one that I'm knitting out of some yarn that was given to me by our friend Shauna. So this is a Heidi Kermayer pattern, and I'm knitting it out of Sunday Knits Eden, which is a woolen spun merino yarn. And I put it in timeout back in May or June, because I screwed up something in the hem. This part here, where there's a little bit of lace here along the bottom. And when I picked it back up, I figured it out because the lace pattern is an odd number of rows. So if the first row is always a knit, you're not always knitting on the same side, right? Because it flips every repeat.
So it's doing garter, essentially.
Well, with lace thrown in. So I figured out why I had screwed up. and ripped back. And then I thought I was out of yarn. And again, during the cleaning of the knit room, I had been talking to Laura about it because I went onto the Sunday Knit site and added a couple skeins to my cart of this colorway. But dye lots can vary.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit worried about that. But I was like, I could swear I double checked and had like 200 extra yards. So I didn't order it yet. And then later that night, it was last night, I think. As I was doing some more moving and painting and stuff, I was like, there's that skein. So I hand wound it. I finished the lace earlier today, and I've only got a couple rows in the edging to go on the hem of this. It's just a big purple blob right now. The hem of the sweater. So
yeah,
there's the edging. And then after that, I've got a collar to pick up and
do you think the 200 yards will be enough?
Yeah, because the collar's not nearly...
And you already did the sleeves, right? So you can just make the collar as long as you have yarn for.
Yeah, but I don't think I'll need that many. I mean, the hem had like 400 stitches on each row because it goes all the way up,
Oh, okay.
So it's just this part here that I'm pretty sure I'll have plenty.
Good.
But I'll weigh it once I start and do a repeat, and just to make sure, because I can always do fewer repeats on the collar if I need to.
Absolutely. It is a big, oversized drapey collar, so you can make it a little less oversized.
Yep. So I'm doing the largest size, and it's an open sweater, so I don't have to worry about the fronts meeting.
So the sizing on that's not...
It's not great, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's an old pattern. She may have updated it with newer sizing. I don't know. But the bust, the largest size is 51 3/4. So it's not terrible, but it's not up to what like we would expect for current generous sizing requirements. This actually calls for sport weight. Yeah, that's what this is. This is sport weight. Okay. Yeah, so I've been working on that, and then I cast on something new because why not? I've been looking for the right pattern for this yarn for, 2 years, ever since Laura knit her bright pink boxy.
Yes, that I need to rip the sleeves out of and reknit so I can actually wear it.
We should do that.
Yeah, we should.
So...
or I should do that.
Yeah. I hate ripping things back, but I've felt like this week I've done a lot of it because I want the finished thing.
Yeah.
Enough that I'll do it. So what I ended up picking was the Solstice Cardigan, and this is by a designer I've never heard of, but it kept coming up when I was doing searches. It's Tricot MCL. So it's not Tricot the company, like the
yarn brand.
The yarn brand, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's Marie Christine Levesque, and all of her patterns are in French and English. I believe she's Canadian, but I could be wrong. So this is what it is. Solstice. It's got 2-color brioche at the top, and then a little bit of that contrast color over the shoulders, and then the rest of it's kind of like a weekender. Like it's got a little bit of detail up at the top, and then most of the rest of it's just plain, simple stockinette. I believe it does have a split hem, which I like on a sweater. But the first thing that you do is the 2-color brioche, and you knit the one panel, and then once you've knit the one panel, you put those stitches on holders, and then you knit the other panel. And for my size, that panel is 9 inches long, which is a really long common fingering weight. At least it feels like a really long common fingering weight. So I am using my Loop Yin Yang fingering weights in the body and sole colorways. So the way that these coordinate, it's got 3 plies of one color and 1 ply of another color, and they coordinate together.
They're reversed.
And I've gone through a couple of other options that I really liked, but they required a high contrast, and these just aren't really super high contrast. They kind of look like they were meant for each other in a way that doesn't provide enough contrast.
Yeah, they were made for each other,
Right.
so.
So I had swatched for a couple of other things with them, and it just never quite
Pearl
worked
fur trying to. Pearl's right here.
Yeah.
So.
She's like, we're talking, and usually if I'm here, that means she's getting pets, so or treats.
Or both.
Yeah. So this is the dominant red side and the dominant white side.
Which side do you think you're gonna make the outside?
The red, because that's what I've got 4 skeins of. I've got 2 skeins of the white.
Gotcha.
Which will be more than enough. So, yeah, I'm happy with it.
And if you run out of the red later, you can use a little bit of the white on the cuffs or to do the ribbing or whatever.
Yeah, add a stripe in or something.
Yeah.
I think I have plenty, but yeah, I'm really happy with it. And she has you, when you put, after the first row, you put in little stitch markers. It's probably hard for you to see that, but a little stitch marker here that shows this is where the neck's going to be. Like, I'll pick up stitches on the other side of that. So.
Nice. That makes total sense.
God, is that all? I hope that's all. Oh, no, I've got one more thing.
Good. I needed some knitting time on this.
And this is basically all I've got, except to have a tiny bit of spinning. So I picked this up in my redoing of my craft room, and I'll show you guys once it's done.
Ooh, can we do a tour?
Sure. Hopefully it'll be neat enough for that. I went through and got rid of most of the cubbies where I held my yarn. The way that I tend to keep my yarn is inside of plastic bags. I'll put 3 or 4, however many the bag can hold. And then I'm putting all those bags in bins just because it makes me feel better to have a second layer of protection against bugs. Because we live in the South and there's a lot of bugs. So, plus the cubbies took up a lot of wall space, and wall space is something I don't have a lot of in that room because it's got the sloped walls. It's a bonus room on top of the garage.
Yeah.
So, it's got the sloped walls, and I don't have a lot of wall space in that room. But in that, I kept a couple of little cubbies, mainly because I needed somewhere to put my winder and Swift.
You created a winder station with them. Yeah.
A small one over by where my closet is. And in the cubbies there, I'm just going to keep, the few books that I keep upstairs. Most of my books stay downstairs. And sort of things that I'm either working on or about to be working on.
Oh, that's smart.
And this, I found this as something that I was working on. So this is something I finished a couple years ago. This I got from Pearl Soho. It was a crewel, crewel, Crewel. It's a type of embroidery, but with wool instead of the cotton floss, essentially. And this is designed to be like a pillow cover.
Okay.
But I got 2 of the same thing, so that I could make a matching set of pillows.
Oh.
And I never started the second one, so I started the second one.
Cool. No, when you wash it, does the print come off?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I mean, it's totally covered once you've stitched on it. But like this one has been soaked and laid flat, so all the coloring comes off of it. But yeah, so I started that, and this is from Custom House. Pearl Soho doesn't sell these kits anymore, but I put a link to where you can find them in our show notes, and our show notes are on our website, which is TheKnitGirlls with 3Ls.com. And that is what I've been working on, and I've been talking for 20 minutes, so.
Cool. So I had last time we checked in, which was 2 weeks ago, I had finished the Mustache Yarns and the Hawaii Volcanoes colorway socks for my father.
That's right.
Those were knit on size 0 needles. They were top down heel flaps. I had started the socks for my brother-in-law, which are a pair of Vanilla is the New Black socks. He loves that heel, so now every Christmas he gets that heel. And he made sure to say, I really like the heels of these socks. So I was like, yes, we have a winner. So I finished the Biscotti and Chi in Grinchau, which I think is Grinch in French. That was bought back in 2011. So those were gifted to him. We exchanged presents on the solstice this year. Because my sister and brother-in-law weren't going to be in town for Christmas. They went back to Philadelphia because they had to buy. So they have a scale, like that you would find at a turnpike rest stop, like those old scales. But they wanted the topper that was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, wow.
To it. So, do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it like one of those guess your weight scales?
Yes. Okay, kind of. But like, it's like one of the fortune-telling scales.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So they had the scale, but they didn't have a topper, and they found an auction house in Baltimore that deals in this kind of stuff. So they left early to go pick that up from that auction house in Baltimore before they sold it. So, anyway.
I feel like your sister and brother-in-law have so many stories.
They have, like, a very interesting, eclectic bunch of mechanical objects. In fact, I'm getting a gumball machine from them, to put in my library that I'm going to fill with those small, tiny plastic bubbles and put, like, free play on it, which is, anyway, you just turn it and stuff comes out. And they're going to have book ideas inside of them. I found that idea online and I was like, I need a gumball machine for this. And my sister was like, we have 7 gumball machines.
Like, she would be the person I would ask about that.
So I'm going to purchase one from her, and she's redoing it now, and then I will have a Also, I thought that would be cool to do, like, pattern ideas at SSK.
Oh, yeah.
Or, instead of the scratch-off tickets,
you get one turn of the free play machine.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah, so I thought all of that would be super fun. So we'll have to think about it.
Yeah, we have to get out a token.
Yeah, well, Beck's like, you can have special tokens made. These things that could happen. So Matt really loved his socks, my brother-in-law, and for Beck, I did a pair of socks out of Knit Spin Farms Coloring Book Day colorway, which was white with really bright colors. You're going to see all of these in pictures that Leslie's going to insert. Magically. Those were the Wendy Johnson Toe-Up with Gusset socks. Also knit on size 1 needles over 56 stitches. Matt's were 64 stitches. My father's were 64 stitches, but he says they're a little tight, so we're going up to 72 stitches next year. Also, he's getting, like, his hip replaced, so, like, pulling things on is a little bit more.
Yeah.
He's getting his hip replaced on Groundhog's Day. And he's naming his new hip Phil.
Well, I mean, it's good to have a good, happy, silly outlook.
Yeah. So, as long as everything goes according to plan with COVID and everything like that. So they got those, and then I worked on my mom's socks. She got hers a little bit later. I used Mustache Yarns, which is a thinner yarn. It's a fingering weight yarn, a lighter fingering weight yarn in the Denali colorway. And those were also Wendy Johnson toe-up socks with gusset. I knit those on size 0 needles and 64 stitches. So lots of awesome sock knitting. I can read and knit socks round and round and round. Because these were all stripy socks, so I can do that and just knit round and round and round. And so, yeah, I'm kind of proud that I got basically 4 pairs of socks in a month.
It's a lot. I would have just given up. I'm going to be completely honest.
And some of those socks, like Beck's sock, I knit a sock in a day, which I've done before, but I was very impressed with myself. Especially since we were doing things like playing 5 Crowns, where, you know, it's a little bit harder when you're playing a card game to knit at the same time.
Yeah.
And we also played By Felicia, which is super fun. And we were gonna play Ticket to Ride. I got the Nordic edition, but we ran out of time. But yeah, 5 Crowns was super fun. It's kind of like Phase 10.
Oh, okay.
Where you have certain things that you have to accomplish. Yeah, and I have that coming. So I'll teach you how to play, and then we can play card games. We can convince your son, maybe, to play games with us. I think he would like By Felicia, too. That's kind of like a reverse of Taboo, where you write down what you think people are going to guess, versus trying... Is that Taboo or categories, I think, is what that is. Anyway. So all those socks got finished and they got gifted, and everyone enjoyed their socks. It's kind of a tradition in my family now that people get socks for
Mm-hmm.
Christmas. So, and they're really happy to get socks, and I'm really happy to knit them socks. So yeah, that's what I finished. 3 more pairs of socks.
It's a lot.
It was, but it was good. And now, and I made decent progress on the shawl, I feel like. I'm only now 19 rows from being done. So, or moving on to the stripey part. So that is what I finished. Did you finish anything, friend?
I did. I don't know whether or not I'm going to get a picture though. So one of Michael and my originally he was Michael's friend, but now he's mostly my friend. I'm trying to get him a job in our department.
Oh, which one? Keith or
Alan?
Alan?
Because he's still working for the team I used to work for, and he's very unhappy there now because long, boring work stuff. But so I'm trying to get him a job on our team. But he has 5 kids, 4 of which are 12 and under, and his wife Demetra, she runs a taekwondo school. They're building, or they're renting a space over. You guys won't know this, but over across from Chick-fil-A where Nukes is. There's a space there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's right by like a really popular
like where
Little League field.
Yeah,
over
like
by Snowden.
Yeah, like where the there was like in the same plaza as Nukes.
Yeah, like there used to be like a soap company or something.
Bluff City, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've moved to over by the Target. Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, that Demetra.
Welcome to living in a small town.
Demetra, his wife, mentioned that the kids like homemade hats, so I had a bunch of them and took a bunch of them over and just left them there because they'll use them. And the youngest boy, Grayson, who's 4, maybe. Yeah, he's 4. He's not yet 5. He loved the Quinn hats. Those were his favorite.
Oh, good.
But I made 2 snap hats. Those are from Tin Can Knits, and they're made using 4 fingering weight singles held together. And I knit 2 of them, but I forgot to take a picture because I'm a terrible human being.
Yeah, no.
And
that happens, especially with gift giving.
Yeah, I was just so happy to be done with them, so I think there were like 9 or 10 hats total. I just took over, and I got to see all the dogs and
nice.
See the kids and the new house, and just forgot to take pictures. So I'm trying to get a picture of
they're in a new house now?
Yep.
Oh, awesome.
Lewisburg, of course.
Of course.
So if I can get a picture, I'll put it in so you guys can see them. Snap hats. It was the first time I knit that pattern.
I love that pattern.
Super fast, very easy.
Great way to use up leftovers, or if you get samples, like when you buy yarn, they send you, like Miss Babs will send you a little sample card. Hip Strings does
5 grams of something.
Yeah, it's a great way of using those up as well.
Yeah. So I did a couple of those, and I think that's pretty much all that I've finished. I have a tiny bit of spinning.
Did you do any sewing while I was gone?
No, because my craft room is...
Oh, yeah.
I can't get to my sewing
But you did some Cricut making stuff.
I did, but I didn't take... so I combined the Cricut print then cut feature with a laminator and made some labels for the way I'm going to store my needles, which I'll put a picture in here, which I totally stole from someone else. That Laura sent me a link to an Instagram post or something where someone did this.
And I can't remember who either.
Yeah, they used this storage.
Photo box storage?
Photo box storage, yes, from Michael's.
Mm-hmm.
And the little cases are normally like $40. I think I got it on sale for like 17 or something.
She's going to keep an eye out for me too. Because Leslie goes to Michael's, it's by her house.
It's by my house, yeah. So usually, I'll go every few weeks and just wander and see what they got. But, so I'll put a picture in of what I did. If anybody wants I don't know if I can share the file or whatever. I'll have to figure that out. But I did do some Cricut stuff. I made a couple of little divider things for Michael. He has like Um, Kind of like those embroidery boxes, or the boxes that hold embroidery thread, and they got little dividers in them. It's kind of like that, but it's with movable dividers.
I have one of those for washi tape.
Yeah, and he wanted to. He didn't get enough dividers, and you can't buy them apparently. So I had to like create some and cut them out of the little wood veneer.
Oh, look at you!
But I did some spinning. So this was, and both of these are were spun on the Starling, the V3,
From
and
Daedalus.
that's a Daedalus wheel. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is all wound up. I don't remember the colorway name. I'll figure it out. I'm just going to chain ply because I didn't spin it with any specific intention.
What fiber was it? Do you remember?
It was just merino, I believe.
Okay.
Superwash merino.
It'll be great for kids' hats.
Yeah.
It's very fun for you.
I did spin it relatively thin just because I knew I was either going to chain ply it or ply it with some other really wild,
You might be able to make DK weight
color.
stripey socks.
But yeah,
sport weight.
I'm relatively happy with that.
I think you should be very happy with that.
It was great to spin. It was a really lovely spin. And then the other thing I pulled out of Deep Stash, because as I was moving stuff and repacking things, I was like, ooh. Like, I forgot
it's
I
nice
had
to get
this.
excited about the things that you already have.
So there was a dyer, I do not believe she's in business anymore, I couldn't find her, called Enchanted Knoll.
Yeah, I don't think she's in business anymore.
And she made the most beautiful bats.
She did.
And she had a bat club for a while that I was a member of called the Happy Hooves Bat Club. She usually did mixes with some degree of like silk or tinsel or something with a little bit of slip to it. Not always, but I was never unhappy with a bat that she sent. She always did beautiful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So in this particular one, it was 7 little mini batlets, and they were all sort of in a color range. And I spun it for me, it was
that's thin.
kind of thin. And it has a lot of like lighter colors. It's hard to see.
It's got a lot of depth to it. Between the sparkle, which is hard to see, but also the mixture of the fibers.
So I haven't decided on this one. I believe I have a single that I spun out of Spotted Circus that was just like a white sparkle, like a really light gray sparkle that I could combine with this, and then it would,
go a little further.
Be a sort of a faded gradient, like because it would wash out the color a little bit with mixing it with the other one. But
It'll give you the same effect as your loop yarn.
So I don't know yet for sure what I'm going to do with that, but I am out of bobbins at this point, so...
I have more.
I know you do.
You can borrow one, just one.
But, yeah, I'm going to look to see if I can find that Spotted Circus one. I'm pretty sure I spun that, and I don't know if I applied it with anything.
I feel like you did, but...
I feel like I might have.
I know Elizabeth is always willing to make more, but also, I think between us... I have a light gray merino over there that you can have. It's in that bag right on top of the Fleece and Fiber source book.
I don't know where that is.
Right there.
Oh, okay. I'll look afterwards. But yeah, I think I'm going to combine this with a solid of some kind just to sort of... because if I chain ply, I lose a lot of yardage.
You do.
It's like, it becomes a 3-ply from a 1-ply. So it's thicker, but it's shorter in length. So I think I'm going to combine this with something so that I can get some more yardage out of it.
My dog just sighed and kicked the computer
She's
stand.
over this.
It's very hard being Pearl.
But yeah, that's it. What about you? You've been doing a lot of spinning.
I've been doing a fair amount of spinning.
Since you've been back.
Since I've been back. I didn't do a lot of spinning while I was gone. I did take a wheel with me and I did ply. But the more exciting news is I got into a Maggie Casey class that I was super stoked about.
Ply.
Not for ply, actually, although I am taking a class with her at ply. So, Maryland Sheep and Wool is doing this Winter Fest that is all online. And I signed up for a really cool, I have a blending board, but I rarely use it. So I signed up for a class for that. And then I really wanted to take a Maggie Casey class that's in that evening. that is about finishing your yarn. So you spin 8 different skeins, and how to finish them is discussed. So none of mine are finished yet, because I know that I am, and you can spin mini skeins for this, but go big or go home.
I mean, you already have the skeins. So.
Yeah, so I might not finish these for a while, so I won't know finished yardage or how they actually finish, but I also think this is a good discussion to have in regards to finishing in general. So I did have 2 skeins that were already sitting here plied that I just hadn't wound off. This was the first skein that I spun the singles on my Ladybug cherry wheel. This is hobbledehoy. It's 2 ounces of Firefly batlings. I think it is a Silk Sparkle Polworth blend. I've lost the tag because that's how long ago this was. It's 200 yards. And this was spun worsted, I believe. And it was also plied on the Ladybug. So this would be, it's basically a fingering weight right now. It would be great to do hat out of, or maybe like a Musselburgh. Like use this for half of a Musselburgh and then another skein for another half.
I don't know what Musselburgh is.
It's the Ysolde Teague hat that's lined.
Okay.
So, that might become one of those. And then I had also plied this hobbledehoy, I believe. Not hobbledehoy. Hip strings. I just lost the tag. This is Unicorn in the Library. It is a 50% superfine merino wool, 25% rambouillet.
She is reading that off the floor.
12.5% viscose, and 12.5% nylon. That's the glitter. So it is, I think, 220 yards is what I got of a 2-ply. This was spun on my Starling and then plied on the Ladybug. So I wound this off. This was also spun worsted. This has a lot of drape to it. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been... Yeah, so it's got a good amount of drape to it. But the big thing with yarn, your hand spun, is you always want to finish it, because right now, let me pop this a little bit to get it, all that twist that I just put in it out. So you can see it's twisting up on itself, just that slight one turn. You actually lose around 20% of the twist when you wash it. So it's better to wash and finish your skein, whether it's popping it or there's lots of different ways of finishing. That's why I'm taking a class in it. To balance it out, lose that twist, but also it's kind of like blocking your knits. Mm-hmm. And you want to do that before you knit with it, because you don't want any surprises. So that also has not been finished. I might actually finish this one. I don't know that I'm going to use that one for the class, because it's kind of just like a normal skein.
So when is this class?
End of January.
Oh, okay.
And then this I'm definitely saving for the class, because it is very unusual and I'm not happy with it, but it's on me and not the fiber. So this is the woolly tweed base from Spotted Circus Alpacas. A lot of people are carrying this base now. It is an 80% South American wool, so not super fine. But then 20% of it is this black and white viscose neps. Do you see the little bits and pieces in there? I've been talking with Jillian Marino and some other people about how to spin this fiber, because if you spin it some ways, the neps are going to disappear, but it doesn't draft super smooth because of the neps, so it's a hard one to draft worsted. So I did spin this worsted. It is probably one of my more uneven skeins. The singles, they're a little uneven. All of these have been 2-plies, by the way. But the neps really show up in this when it's opened up. If you spin it woolen, I think you're going to lose those. Same with from the folds. But it's one of those fibers that I want to experiment with. It does have a little bit more twist to it, because I was fighting with it. And when you can't draft smoothly, more twist goes in. So...
Hold on.
No, you're...
My hand's in my mouth full.
So it's like
Yeah, it's a little, not quite crunchy, but just firmer. Like, it feels less flexible, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not as softly spun as it could be. When you add more twist, it's going to get a
Right.
little bit more crunchy, and it hasn't been finished. So I'm interested to see, like, if I bang it against something to finish it, like, will that bring more neps to the surface? What's that going to do?
Yeah.
So it's going to be an experiment.
I mean, it's still pretty. I would happily take it off your
Yeah,
hands.
and it glows in black light, so you could wear whatever you
At
make
the
out of it
rave.
at a rave.
Because that's, secretly what I
What you
absolutely do not do.
So yeah, that one's one of the more interesting bases that I've come across lately. Like I said, a lot of people are carrying it. It's put out by one of the big base manufacturers. So yeah, we'll see what Maggie recommends to do with this. And that's my spinning. Those three. Oh no, it's not. I finished my hip strings. So I spun on the Hip Strings Base 12, which is mostly silk blends, and I finished all 6 ounces.
It's amazing that you crammed it all.
I know. Well, so I spun it on the Lendrum on purpose because the Lendrum is the only wheel I have a woolly winder for.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to try to fit 6 ounces on the bobbin. The woolly winder uses this gear to turn another gear, and it moves the flyer arm up and down, so it fills it really evenly, so you can usually cram quite a bit more on there. So, yeah, it is very, very full on this side. This is the side that's more up. The Lendrum's on a slant, so, like, gravity actually pulled it down a little bit.
I wondered if it just, when you started, you went this way first, and it just built up on top of that.
I don't know.
Or if you started it at an end, would it still be slightly heavier on one side?
I don't know. It's an experiment. I think it's a gravity thing, but I don't know.
Yeah,
also,
the is the only one where the head is tilted.
I was thinking with the woolly winder, like, if you're not feeding it in evenly either, then that's going to make a difference. A lot of questions.
Yeah. So
I would like a woolly winder for my ladybugs, but it's all good. And I certainly don't need more bobbins.
That is true.
That is the thing with these, is that the woolly winder does need specialty bobbins. But, and this bobbin is from Acreworks. I got it. It's the tire print. It's my, I got it to celebrate Tour de France.
Oh, because bicycles.
And also yellow is the winner's jersey. The maillot jaune. Anyway, so that is my spinning. I've not been reading a ton. I did watch a bunch of movies, like Jingle All the Way, a bunch of holiday films, and we also watched Encanto, which is the new Disney.
Yeah.
It's super cute. It's really enjoyable. About family. And not always getting, but like the pressure of being like the oldest in a family. It's really, really well done, and Lin-Manuel Miranda does the music. So, highly recommend that. It's on Disney Plus right now, and I think you can rent it from Redbox as well. What have you been reading or listening or watching?
Well, I've been re-listening to the Peter Klein's series. I can't remember what the series is called, but it starts with 14. And then The Fold, and I'm on Dead Moon now, and then there'll be Terminus. That's the last book. I tend to re-listen to those around Christmas time. I'm rewatching Taskmaster while I knit on the brioche sweater. I'm up to the 4th season.
I had never watched season 11.
Yeah,
so I started season 11 the other day. I don't know how I missed that one.
No, I just started season 5.
Is season 5 Noel?
Nope, that's 4.
Okay.
This is the Bob Mortimer.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
With Sally Phillips and Aisling B. and Mark Watson and Nish Kumar.
I think that's in my top 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, some seasons there are favorites more than others, and I've linked the Taskmaster YouTube channel in our show notes. I think the first 10 or 11 seasons are out there for you to watch. If you're interested, it's a British comedy panel show. They tried it in the U.S. and it flopped hard. The Australian version's pretty good.
Is it Australian or New Zealand?
Ooh,
Think it's New Zealand.
it might be New Zealand. Yeah. Yeah, I think it might be New Zealand. And
I wonder why the U.S. I'd love to see the U.S. version.
I mean, it's out there, I think, but from what little I've read about it, it didn't do well. But I enjoy it personally, and so I'm rewatching the series, and I'm reading another series by T. Kingfisher. This one is the Saint of Steel series. And it's sort of so for the first two books were male, female, sort of, I don't know really how to classify. I guess it would sort of be fantasy. But there are different gods and saints, and they imbue their, like, paladins with righteous fury to, like, take care of demons and stuff. I just started the third, which seems like it's going to be male, but I do like the way that T. Kingfisher writes in like trans characters into the books. Like the second book had werebears, and so this particular they called it an affliction, only affected women. Like there were, men weren't born with this particular trait or whatever. And when it's a nun, it's a convent of nuns who turn into bears, which is hilarious. But when the nun was describing it, she says, I have 19 sisters and 2 brothers that were born as sisters. So they don't make a big deal out of it, but there are trans characters.
There's some representation. Right. Mm-hmm.
So, and it's nice to see that,
Yeah. And if stuff's not written in, then the assumption is that it's not. Yeah.
That it's a heterosexual.
Cis. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm on the third book of that. This is the second or third T. Kingfisher series I've read. I tend to like the way that she writes, so I might go through her whole collection. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Have you been reading anything interesting?
I finished House of Hades by Uncle Rick Riordan. I was listening to the audiobook, and I stopped listening to it back in 2019 and picked it up again. I had 6 hours left for my trip.
Why do you call him Uncle Rick?
That's what a lot of people call him on the internet.
Is that like his Twitter handle or something?
It's because he is, he's like family. I don't know. It's just, yeah, that's what people just call him. I don't know. I like it. So, yeah. That's what he's known on the interwebs.
Okay.
So, yep. And then I also picked up, what is the name of that series? The new one in the Royal States came out, which is male-female, apocalyptic United States. Magic's become prevalent, but there's a caste system, and there's also child marriage and some other more political things. It's kind of like the Alana Andrews, Emerald's, Blaze
where it's all
type
family
series.
Dynasties.
Where it's dynasties, but it's got a lot more caste system and political involvement than that. So, yeah.
Okay.
And that's by Susan Copperfield, I think. It's R.J. Blaine's other pseudonym.
Okay. What else? I think that's all.
So I was rereading all of those, and I'm back up to number 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. Because it's been, I think, 2 years since the last one came out, so I've forgotten what's happened.
Whenever Kobe finishes a series, he says, what should I read next? What should I, listen to next? And sometimes I can recommend things that he likes, and sometimes I can't.
Oh, you should have him look on Novelist.
I will. The last thing I recommended was Johannes Cabal, the Necromancer, which I listened to the first book, and it was okay, but not. I didn't like it enough to listen to any of the rest. But he did, so I think he's on the third book now.
Yeah, so Novelist, we have it for free for the state of Mississippi. Your taxes pay for it through Magnolia, and you can put in any book that you've read, and it will give you read alike suggestions on the side. That's what Malia works for.
Oh, okay, cool.
But you also can go and select. They have like tags at the bottom. So like for Diary of Wimpy Kid, you can say, I like books that are character driven, that take place in a middle school, and that are funny. And it'll bring up everything that fits those 3 tags together.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. It's a great, if you have access to it, it's a great resource. For sure.
Is it only for kids?
No, it's actually more geared, it defaults to adult.
Oh, okay.
So, you can you can sort it by level, but it always defaults to adults.
Okay.
So, yeah, you might enjoy it too.
Yeah.
I'll share the Mississippi password. If you're at like a library or a school, they have the IP addresses where you can get in without a password.
Yeah.
But if you're not, then you need a password, which I can share with you because I have it memorized.
That's shocking.
But it's housed through Southern Miss. But yeah, your tax dollars get to pay for it. It's also great for, it's got EBSCO and all the like research things on there too.
I don't know what that means.
They're databases for doing research,
okay.
like finding articles that have been.
Last time I did a research paper, I had to use physical books. Reference books.
We're old, Tio.
Yeah. But I'm grateful for that because it means that I grew up before Instagram and Flip Flop or TikTok or whatever the hell it's called.
TikTok.
Flip
Flop.
I rewatched IT Crowd, and so for several days, instead of calling it Facebook, I kept calling it Friend Face.
I do like IT Crowd. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's too short though. Like the episodes are only half an hour.
Yeah, and they only did what, 6 seasons?
They did 4 seasons, and with 6 episodes per season, and then like the 5th season was a single episode that was about an hour.
Oh.
So.
They did put out the Christmas and New Year's British baking show.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have to watch that sometime.
Yeah, I saw an advertisement for HBO's doing a Harry Potter reunion.
Yeah, I know.
And like I like all the actors. You know, I like the Emma Watson and the Rupert, what's his face, and Daniel Radcliffe, but I don't want to support Harry Potter. So.
Well, you don't want to support J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, sorry. In my mind, they're the same. But
yeah.
Yes.
I understand.
Anyway, okay, I think that's it. The only thing I have in favorite things is the craft room redo, which once I've got it done, I'll do a quick tour and show you guys. But yeah, that's about it.
Awesome.
So hopefully next time we record, we'll be back in the craft room. We have a VKN for our patrons this Sunday, the 2nd at 3 p.m. And all the information for that is on our Patreon page. And yeah, we hope you guys have a happy New Year. And we'll see you next year.
If you're celebrating Kwanzaa, happy Kwanzaa, because that's going on right now.
Yes, you're right. I forgot about Kwanzaa. But yeah, we'll see you in 2022.
Absolutely.
Bye,
Bye y'all.